What is going on, Clippers fans? Welcome to Season 3, Episode 18 of Clips and Dip. We are so close to the Clippers season. Regular season, excuse me. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening to us, thank you. If you'd like to watch us, we are at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. I am Chuck Mockler, joined by Adam Osland. William Updike, still in Japan, as far as we know. We believe he's in Japan. He could be anywhere.
You
We're gonna
sound
get
like MLB facts there, as far as we know.
hey, hot stove. The William Updike hot stove has started. We're doing a mailbag question today. We've had a couple preseason games. People are wondering about starting lineups. People are wondering about Kawhi. We have no updates on him. But before we get into that, Adam Osland, you have been going so hard on Clippers media. How are you doing on this kind of hot Thursday evening in Los Angeles?
What do you mean we have no updates on Kawhi? I just did an hour on it. I'm doing good. I'm okay. I feel good. Yeah, we're close to the Clippers season starting. So close you can almost taste the popcorn that Steph Curry approved.
See, I
I
think
didn't
I
want to
forget
start
about
things off.
that. I think I forget about that. No, glad to hear you're doing well. I'm doing well. I got my first physical since I was playing high school sports the other day. So it had been a while. Perfect health, which is great to hear. So that was nice. The doctor was like, "Why did you get this?" And I told him I haven't had one since I was 18. He was like, "Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense."
It's like, you think I wouldn't do this either?
Yeah, like what do you
Why are
want me
you
to do?
here? I hate physicals.
I waited for a half hour because they forgot about my appointment, and then I talked to the doctor for like 5 minutes. But it's
That's
better
usually
than
how
the
it goes.
opposite. Yeah, so hope everyone listening is in good health. Let's get into these questions. Thank you for sending these. If you ever have questions you want us to answer, you can send them to @ClippersPod on Twitter or @Follow Adam A on Twitter. He would love to get your questions for the show. Any question, trade questions, trade machine stuff, shoot it over to Adam A.
I got enough questions on Clippers talk earlier.
Oh man, I'm excited to see how the Clippers talk the radio audience is this year, because I still think fans are oscillating between the William Updike school of thought, which is, of course, this is our year,
I
and
really
we're
haven't
gonna
heard much of that outside of Will. I got to be honest.
and we're gonna stink. So we got some questions along those lines. Oh, first of all, our last episode, Adam recommended a diet soda that was special edition 2024
Oh
Diet
yeah,
Dr. Pepper Cherry
zero.
Zero.
Yeah,
Someone
zero
bought.
is some. I don't know if they use a different fake sugar in zeros versus diet because
Mm,
they're both 0 calorie. I don't know if the sodium level's different. I don't know. I know the caffeine level tends to be higher in the zeros than the diets. I think that's a fact. Like zero might be what they used to call
okay.
max. Like they used to have Pepsi Max, and that was higher level of
Right.
caffeination, had some ginseng in it, I think. So maybe that's what they replaced it with. I don't know. But they're damn
That's
good.
crazy. I don't drink any soda, but that's crazy they put ginseng in Pepsi.
I currently
um,
have a Mountain Dew diet, which is nectar of the gods.
hey,
It's
can't
a
go wrong
classic.
there. And the last episode, on your recommendation, someone purchased some of that Dr. Pepper. So, Dr. Pepper, if you're listening, people who listen to the show will buy your product if we talk about it.
Is
Just
that who
something.
gave you the physical?
Yeah. Yeah, I got the physical and I got prescribed 33 different flavors or whatever's in the Dr. Pepper. Um, we got some Clippers questions. We're going to start off. Carlos Escobar asked, season started today. Who's your starting five? I think we probably have possibly the same answer on this.
Well, if it's starting today, Kawhi's not playing today.
And if it's starting in a couple weeks, I also don't think Kawhi will be playing.
Yeah, he didn't practice today. He's still not practicing. So I would go James Harden,
Okay.
Norman Powell,
Yep.
Terrence Mann,
Mm-hmm.
Derek Jones Jr. and Nico Batum, probably Derek Jones Jr. and Ivica Zubats, but I'd be fine with going with Nico for a little bit more size.
I think, yeah, I mean, I have the exact same two lineups basically. The thing with Derek Jones Jr., And we talked about this a little bit about how the Clippers have 5 preseason games. He's had 2 weird preseason games. He had foul trouble, and then he had the head contusion, which he does seem to be recovering well from.
Yeah.
I could
He was
see,
practicing today.
yeah, I could see them maybe just for a couple games, depending how the rest of the preseason goes, putting Nico in there at the 4.
Yeah, I thought there was a question about Nico today. I don't know. Like, how much is he going to play in the preseason? He played a little bit last game, but he didn't play at all in game 1. So, yeah, maybe. I'd be interested in Nico playing the 4 to start things off, just to have more size. He's not a great rebounder. If there is a knock on Nico, I don't think he's a great rebounder for his size. Like Marcus Morris did
agree
more
with
of
that.
that back in 2021 than Nico did, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think too, like the pro argument for Batum is like the stability, right? He knows the system. He knows Terrence. He knows Zoo. He's, like that would be good. But we do need some rebounding. And they've been hammering that need home. If you've been listening to any of the quotes from Ty Lue and stuff like that.
Yeah. Offensive rebounding. They won the battle of the boards against Milwaukee, against Brooklyn on Tuesday night. But that's not saying much because I don't think Brooklyn had a guy out there that was taller than 6'8".
Right. Yeah. Ben Simmons was probably the tallest guy out there.
Yeah. I mean, Nico can he rebound better than Derek Jones Jr., I guess is really the only question. And if that's the case, you might want him out there.
Yeah, true. And we know like also the rotations, like we've heard Ty Lue talk about Zoo getting more time with the second unit and Kai getting time with running the pick and roll with James Harden. So like starting doesn't dictate overall playing time with this Clippers team right now.
We've known that with Terrace for a while. Doesn't mean you're finishing games. Doesn't mean you're
and
closing
Zoo.
games. And Zoo.
And I thought the quote today from Ty was funny about boxing out. He was like, our guys are boxing out, but now we have to grab the rebound.
Yeah.
Guys are checking. We got to grab the board. So, yeah, I think rebounding would make the difference on who they're starting at the 4.
I love that they're emphasizing rebounding and they're saying all the right things. I just don't know if the personnel is there to be a very good rebounding team. I'd still have questions about that.
Yeah.
And if you do crash the glass that hard with all your smalls, it's going to take something out of you on the other end. Just is. Yeah. So there's no great solution to it. Unless Kobe Brown really steps up and becomes this great rebounder, or Jordan Miller. Like I don't know if they have a guy in house or Kai Jones. I don't know what they can do about it because they're a smaller squad. They just are.
They were 19th in total rebounds last year, and I think they want to be higher than that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're in that like 13 to 17 range.
I could see Man improving because his rebounding went down a little bit the last couple of years, and there's no reason for that. If it's just a point of emphasis for Terrence Mann to rebound more, I think he'll do it. And that was something they talked about, and he did it. I think Terrence Mann was awesome in game 2, by the way.
Yeah,
in limited time, probably the best player out there. So it could work for Terrence. Derek Jones Jr. I don't know his rebounding potential, to be honest. I don't know how good of a rebounder he is. Yeah. He's so slight of frame, but he does have a great vertical. Like, can he really help and get in there and do some of that dirty work? We know the dirty work he can do with defending. Can he do some of the rebounding, though? Maybe, time will tell, maybe. Unless
Next question,
tell us in the comments section.
Hey, I am sure there are some people who there's been people telling us a lot of stuff over on Clippers Pod. We got a question from David Spades, who never had a question from a famous person before. Who's technically the backup point guard, and is that a problem?
I don't think it's question. Yeah, it is a good question. I don't think it's a problem. Earlier today, James Harden said something interesting at practice that I took note of. They were interviewing Terrence Mann, and he just kind of came over, and I don't think he was scheduled to be interviewed, but I think it's the leadership of James Harden right now. They're interviewing one of his guys. He wanted to talk him up.
Wants to protect him, wants to get him comfortable. Yeah.
He said, quote, T-Man is going to have to take a lot of responsibility with ball handling. So for me, just getting comfortable playing off the ball, moving, doing certain things to make our offense more fluid and getting guys shots. But T-Man is going to have to take a lot more responsibility with ball handling. I think they're doing it. I think they're approaching this right, where they're saying, because we've seen James Harden doing a lot of catch and shoot stuff in training camp and in practice. I think they know they can't just run it all through James Harden. It will be far too taxing. As good as he is, they need other guys, whether that's Terrence, whether that's Norman Powell with the ball in his hands, whether it's Bones, whether it's KPJ. They have to have other guys do it. Terrence Mann has done it. Norman Powell can bring the ball up the floor too. If those two guys are both in the starting lineup, that alleviates some of the pressure on Terrence Mann. And then maybe Mann is running the show more with the second unit. Maybe he takes out, because that comment about taking Norman Powell out early to bring him back with the second unit with Ivica Zubac, does that mean he's going to be the backup point guard, do you think?
Probably. Norm's talked about wanting, to show his pick and roll skills off. So like maybe we have this weird Norm starts as the 2 and is the backup point guard.
I can see that.
We got a question. Go ahead.
Like if Kawhi's out, and depending on what minutes Norm plays and with who, there might still be a role available for Bones Highland if Kawhi's out.
We got a question about that. Sal Cart. Some amazing names, by the way, on these questions so far. We got David Spades and Sal Cart. Is there a path for Bones to play meaningful minutes this season without an injury to the main guys, with that quantifier on the end of it?
No.
I know.
No, there's a chance. Like if Kevin Porter Jr., and he was pretty good Tuesday night also, he was much better.
Yeah.
I think he shot it better. It's funny, he was grabbing his lower back for a second, and then they gave him the ball, and he took this tough step back jumper, got it to go, and then was lagging to get back defensively and was kind of spying, and then had the steal and the Euro step for a layup. So that all happened in about 10 seconds. If he doesn't play well enough, then Bones is back in play, I think. But
yeah, it's still up in the air. It's just like he's in purgatory, kind of.
It's unlikely.
Yeah, which sucks. He was bad in the first preseason game.
That lineup was bad. Like if you put Bones out there with bad lineups, it's going to be bad basketball. Basically, that like he's not elevating a lineup. He can add to a lineup.
Yeah, but
he can add a different dimension to certain lineups. If it's Bones in real minutes against first units or second units out there, can do things. Bones as garbage time Bones, and in inconsequential time, we've seen it.
Yeah, there was some bad garbage time last year, and that's saying something for what is already called garbage time. Tarun Polani, yet another great name. Any chance the Clippers play Kawhi at the 3? I think the ship has sailed. No pun intended.
Starting at the 3 probably sailed. With different combinations later in the game, yeah, he can play the 3. Yeah. That will happen. But those comments were really interesting. I talked with Law about it yesterday in trying to figure out whether or not he's telling the Clippers to get a 4.
Yeah.
Or if he's talking about it really could be both or one or the other. If he's talking about the way he's always played and how he needs to make an adjustment, because it's too much. Like him running around and leading them in miles per game at 33 is a recipe for disaster with his right knee. But that's how he's always played. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. So how can he do less of that? I think that's why the Clippers brought in Chris Dunn and Derek Jones Jr. and brought Batum back. I think that's to help Kawhi not have to run around as much, because that was happening at power forward. It was also happening when he played the 3 with Toronto.
That's kind of his style, right? He's such a good defender that when you're a good defender, you run a lot because you're sticking with your guy and all that stuff. Like that is, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because that's kind of his playing style, is being a machine who doesn't stop coming after you on defense and doesn't stop coming after you on offense.
That's exactly what I said. It's a blessing and a curse, I guess, at this point. Like, I think it's less to do with the 4 or the 3 at this point,
Yeah.
and it's actually more about just the way Kawhi Leonard plays. Regardless if he's playing the 4 or the 3, he's probably leading you in miles ran per game, and that's something that has to change. Or should, to protect him from himself.
And it's
I don't
hard
know how
to.
easy that is. Yeah.
Right. He's been playing. He's a plus 10-year vet. Like, it's like, hey, change now. Like, go ahead and shift, gear down a little bit, Kawhi.
Like, do we just play him less minutes? Is that the change? Like, he can't play any different when he's out there, but do we just play him less minutes? So therefore, it's less miles per game. I
I'm
don't
not
know.
mad at that idea. We're going to see some interesting load management. Speaking of Kawhi, Daniel M. If Kawhi manages to stay somewhat healthy and balls out, do you guys see him getting Blaked this season, given the right opportunity? Or do you think they'll continue to roll the dice on him? We were just talking about this before we started recording. There's been some discourse on @ClippersPod on Twitter. They're not trading Kawhi in the Blake fashion. They're not just going to be like, hey, Kawhi. It's like if you've ever worked at a restaurant and your manager comes up to you before your shift and asks you, hey, did you bring a different shirt? Can you talk to me before your shift? You're getting fired. They're not doing that to Kawhi Leonard. They're not meeting him before he gets to the door to find out his key card doesn't work and then telling him he's going to play in Charlotte because we got a first round pick in a couple seconds and someone shitty.
The only way for this to happen, first of all, I think, is for, realistically, Kawhi to play well for a stretch of time, for it to look like it did at times last season. Then teams get interested, and maybe the Clippers aren't in a position to win, even though Kawhi Leonard is still at an elite level, which is also, if he's playing that well, the Clippers are likely winning. That's how it always works.
Right.
It's like threading the needle and all the right variables and how this would have to happen for a team to get interested should also mean the Clippers might want to keep him because he's the lottery ticket. If you do have him healthy in a playoff series, if he is playing well, then you have a chance against pretty much anyone. So I don't know, guys. I agree with Chuck. It's not going to happen the same way. It would never happen the same way. Maybe I should never say never.
Never,
it
ever.
Is so unlikely
never, ever
for it to happen the way it happened with Blake for an abundance of reasons. But I think the biggest one might be this. I brought this up all summer. I believe Kawhi has become a legacy player and a symbol for the Clippers of becoming a destination franchise finally. He is more meaningful than just what he is able to do when he's out there on the court. It tells everyone that they were finally able to land the biggest free agent over a span of years. He was the biggest free agent. You can make the argument, but certainly the summer of 2019, they were able to get him. They're going to treat him the right way, and they're going to show that this is a place you want to come to, and you can be a superstar, and we're going to take care of you, and we're not going to send you out the way it happened with Blake Griffin, which ultimately led to them being able to get Kawhi Leonard. So,
and they also did the same thing with Paul George. Like, they let Paul George, like, everyone knew it was a horribly kept secret that he was going to go to Philadelphia, basically. But it was like, we're going to let you play this out. We're not going to trade you in a way that maybe irks you or something like that. You're going to go get your big deal. Like, it's like with the Tobias contract, too. Remember when, like, there was a whole thing where they were like, we're going to offer you this. You're going to decline it. You're going to get a bigger contract later. Like, then, of course, they traded him on his birthday or whatever that was. But
he hit the game winner.
Yeah. And they did trade Lou Williams the day after he broke the record for the most points by a sixth man. But Tobias Harris and Lou Williams are not Kawhi Leonard. No disrespect. I don't think he's getting Blaked. I also, LA Clippers film, Justin W. on Twitter brought this up. If there was some kind of trade for Kawhi Leonard that benefited the Clippers, there would have been discussions. Like, there would have been. I do think that if the Clippers got some kind, like, there's this idea that the Clippers can just trade Kawhi for picks, which I don't understand, because the Clippers have kind of proven that he's not what he was in terms of durability. like the return for Kawhi, people would be pissed. People who want to trade Kawhi, if they saw the return that I personally, Chuck Mockler, think is out there for him, would be pissed. Like, it would just not feel, it'd be like, what the hell? Like, we're not getting a good young guy for Kawhi. We're not getting multiple first-round picks for Kawhi.
You're not getting the CP3 package where you
No.
got Lou, Pat Bev, Trez. People didn't know about Trez that time, but Lou and Pat Bev were established. That's not happening now. And for it to happen, Kawhi would have to have an extended stretch of healthy play at a high level. And the Clippers
the highest level.
But then the Clippers would somehow also have to not be winning during this,
Right.
still losing and not looking like a contender. And another contender comes over and says, we're going to take the risk because we think he can take us over the top this year. Right now, we're going for it, and we will give up a first or two and a young player for him.
Right.
That's
And
the
some
only
of
way
our
it
good
happens.
players.
And I think Kawhi would have to sign off on it. I think it would not
totally
be
agree.
out of the blue, blindside like it was with Blake.
Yeah.
So considering it would take all that, it's unlikely, guys.
It seems unlikely. Stu Quinn, longtime listener, another person to add to the great name list here on these questions. Daniel, you do have a perfectly fine name, but these other names are blowing you out of the water. Stu Quinn also famously, when Will and I were doing Locked On, would always bet on the Clippers season win total. We'd always do the Stu Quinn update. Stu, if you're listening, let us know if you put that bet down again, and we'd love to track it. This is a question for the real freaks out there. Am I crazy to think that Amir can run in stints at the 4 if Kawhi is out? He's about the same height as Kawhi and Nico and 15 to 20 pounds lighter. If he hit the weight room this offseason, he could be third string power forward. I don't know.
I don't think it's crazy, honestly. It's something I've been thinking about a little bit. He played some power forward last year. He did.
Yeah.
I think it's a possibility that we talked about the starting lineup earlier, that Amir Coffey could end up the starting 4 if Kawhi's not there.
He's done it.
I really think that. With how much he filled in last year with Paul George.
25% of his minutes last year were at power forward.
He's played it. Like, he can do it. He's a really good defender. Like, I have full belief in that happening with Amir Coffey. And even if it happened opening night, I do not think that would be crazy at all.
This is a coffee pod also. We are a pro Amir Coffee pod. I don't know anyone who's anti Amir Coffee, but if you came in here looking for something else, that's not the pod. This is not the pod for you. Yes,
regardless of that, I think it's a real possibility.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. Like,
it's in play.
25% is a legitimate like that, and it was 18% the season before.
So he's used to the system too. Could he play power forward? Yeah. Against Phoenix opening night? Yeah.
And we're gonna see also too, like, it's a weird year for the Clippers. It's kind of a goofy year. We're gonna see some shuffling. I think we're gonna see Ty Lue say, "Oh, smaller team, this is the 4. Bigger team, here's the new 4," or something, or the 3, or something like that.
We're sure as hell going to see Amir Coffey, guys, before you believe Jordan Miller should be getting the opportunity to play the 4.
And we love Jordan Miller, but Amir Coffey is a proven NBA commodity.
Yes. He's averaging, after January, he averaged 19 minutes per game in January.
I was like, what?
I know he's had a good January before.
Yeah,
but it wasn't 19 minutes per game in January last year. Then it gets bumped up to, in February, 25 minutes a game. Then it's at 22 in March. Then to end the regular season, this is after Kawhi is out, he's at 30 minutes per game the last 8 games of the regular season.
He's got some more competition this year, but to your point,
30 minutes per game.
That's more than Zoo. I
think.
Right?
That's why I don't think it's crazy at all. He could easily be the 4.
Yeah.
And that's good. I don't hate it. Now, Amir definitely struggles with the boards. He's got to be better there.
Yes, for sure. But again, He knows the system. We're back to the time where there's like few guys who know the system and just kind of know what to do for their job on the Clippers. And he's one of those guys.
He's looked great in the preseason. Amir's ready.
Yeah. Which is like, he's had some wonky preseasons. Remember that summer league he fouled out? He had that really brutal stretch of shooting, I think last year over the preseason.
Maybe. Or was it 2 years ago when he got buff?
Yeah, when he got on the Adam Oslin Get Shredded, the Get Shredded program.
He was too much bulk, too much mass.
Hey, it could happen. I'm so happy my doctor didn't tell me I was too bulked up when I had that physical. I've never been told that by anybody.
Mixing a salad, Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah. How many eggs are you eating a day? Double digits or what? Yeah, it's going to be.
Amir is the solution for this team, honestly.
Ooh.
He is. He's going to get run if Kawhi's out.
He's a plug and play. Yeah.
Now, if he ends up getting traded in the PJ Tucker move
and the Bones Highland move, you add Amir and Bones and PJ, like
his deal's so good though. You want to hold on to it.
What is it, $4 million a year?
Yeah.
Which I'm like that. Well, so
yeah. He won't if they have any design on him playing the 4 a bunch, which I think is a real possibility.
There's a lot of possibilities. We're talking about Kobe Brown playing the 5 because of our current roster construction, which we'll probably get into later. But all right, we got some more questions coming up. Audio-wise, if you're listening to us, thank you so much. If you are listening, leave us a review wherever you're listening, or just shout out to the person next to you that they should listen to this podcast. If you're watching us, we're still going to be here. We got ads coming up and then more questions in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back in Clips and Dip, episode 18 of season 3. I'm Adam Oslin. We got Chuck Mockler here and some mailbag madness. And bridging the 2 segments is a good question here. This comes from X Mongo Project.
Long time.
Will T. Lue give Miller a shot with the starters the same way he gave Coffee when PG was out that eventually made him a rotation player? Not before Coffee gets it.
I think with the starters is the big caveat here.
Yeah.
Great question. I hope we see it maybe in the preseason, like the last game of the preseason. They're like, Jordan Miller starting. We're going down.
But he's not playing with the real starters then.
No, it's not going to be.
He and Kobe Brown are starting.
Yeah, it's not going to be Harden, Norm, Jordan Miller, Derek Jones Jr., and Zubats.
Probably not. I'm not going to say it's out of the realm of possibility, though, either. Only because my player to watch, Jordan Miller, just killed it.
Oh,
and he keeps test him. Challenge him. I want to see him against first units. I do. He's beating up guys in the summer league. He's beating up guys in the G League. He's beating up guys in the preseason. I think it's time.
I love the challenge him part of it because I think that Ty Lue has challenged him and Kobe Brown in these late game moments in the preseason specifically, right? Like, hey, this is crunch time. We know it's preseason, but like you're out here to close this out or try and get us back into it.
That S, though, on Tuesday night was way too easy for Jordan Miller. Way too easy.
That S?
He carved up Brooklyn.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Brooklyn was missing so many guys already. They had G Leaguers out there, summer league guys, nobody tall.
Ben Simmons.
I can't learn much from that. I can't. I want to see Jordan Miller against the first unit.
Hell yeah. I'm with that. I want to see it too because at this point, like, he can make things happen. And when you have a roster that the Clippers have, which is not a bad roster, but you need guys to make things happen.
He's getting downhill. He's getting to the free throw line, just like he was in Summer League.
He
has his little floater. He's defending. He had a beautiful pass to Kobe Brown for a dunk near the end of that game where he read the floor perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also against a really bad Brooklyn team, maybe the worst team in the league, playing players that aren't even going to be good enough to play on the worst team in the league by the time this regular season starts with the guys that were playing in preseason.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for Kai Jones. It's like, I'm happy he progressed and looked much better in game 2, but I can't draw too much out of it. I'm happy for him, but I can't take too much out of it.
I like that Ty's been keeping Kobe and Jordan Miller together in these big moments too. Like where it's like, you guys, when you're playing the regular season, I have a feeling that in the regular season, when we see Jordan Miller minutes, they're going to be with Kobe Brown and vice versa. They've been brought up together. You know what I mean? Like that familiarity is going to be huge. And if maybe it's Kobe Brown at the 5, which I have some questions defensively about that, but offensively, I think it is good.
Yeah, he's just got to take the ball and bring it up the court and make some decisions and be more aggressive. Like, it's my board, and I'm going to bring it up into the front court.
Yeah.
Take control.
And he's a big guy. Kobe is a big guy. He lost some weight, but he's still a very large human being on an NBA court.
No,
for his size.
I thought this summer, I was telling everybody, guys, does it not look like he lost weight? And it was confirmed at Media Day or whatever.
It's like 15 pounds or something like that.
Oh, it was clear. It was significant.
They also said that he was at 6% body fat, I think, which I just do not believe.
I don't know if he's shredded enough to look like 6%.
Isn't that like unhealthy? Like 6% feels like detrimental.
No, like Kawhi's he probably plays often around there. Like
yeah, but that's Kawhi though.
Insane.
Yeah, like that's like a
If
Kawhi.
you can see an 8-pack, that's probably 6% body fat.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe a little bit more than that, but it's between 8 and 10.
Okay, that's fair. MC Ren 80 had kind of a two-parter. So Ty Lue said he wants to get Kai Jones more time with James Harden and to be to Zubats more time with the bench, specifically to give the second unit another offensive option. Will this be the key to unlock the Zoo we've all been itching to see? 32 plus minutes. Scoring should increase if he's considered a second unit scoring weapon. But could it hinder his minutes if Kai Jones and James Harden click?
Guys, Kai Jones is pretty far from being an NBA player at this point.
He's not taking Zoo's minutes. I don't think he's taking.
He's not taking Bombas if he's healthy. Like he said today, not Lawrence Frank, but Coach Lue said, Kai Jones is the backup right now because Mo Bamba's out. He didn't say he's competing with Mo Bamba. You know what he's competing for? To make the team. He's not signed yet. He doesn't have the two-way. Like, God, have you seen the footwork? Yes, he's an athlete. He can run. He can jump out of the gym. He doesn't have post moves. It's awkward, and it's going to be ineffective against NBA guys. Doing what he did against Brooklyn is great. He needed to do that. He had to do that. If he didn't do that against Brooklyn, there would be major red flags and warning signs. And that was still after a half, Coach Lue having to talk to him and being like, don't worry about making mistakes. Just go out there and play. Did you see the first couple of possessions where he was missing like bunnies? And he realized post-game, I should probably just dunk that. That's where he's at. Like, he doesn't even know his own power yet, his own skill set yet. He's so raw. He's played 613 minutes in the NBA.
Damn.
He is a raw athlete. He couldn't get minutes on a bad Charlotte team. You have to understand what you're looking at here. Anybody that thinks that a guy can just run and jump is an NBA player. They can all run and jump. Like, Kai is a supreme athlete, but there are great athletes all over the floor in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, can't be Capella yet. He can't be any of these guys yet. It's not in the NBA. I'm telling you, unless Mo Bamba is seriously hurt, he's not getting those minutes from Mo Bamba.
And he's not taking. I don't think Kai Jones isn't going to hinder Zubats minutes. I do like this question because I think giving Zoo time with the second unit does really help. Like, offensively on the second unit, if Zoo's the center, we're saying, Norm's the one or something like that. Offensively, outside of those two guys, what are we looking at on the second unit when you really need to go get a bucket? Nico can hit the open three, obviously. You got Chris Dunn, who can you got KPJ, but like in terms of like Zoo could feast on some second units. Zoo against the second unit center, sign me up for all of those minutes.
Of course, that's a big time advantage. I think honestly, against Brooklyn, they were trying not to feature Zubats, not in a way where they were just freezing him out.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
They were trying to run stuff that wouldn't be a given because
Right.
it would have been so easy to just spam
Oh,
Zubats in that game against Brooklyn.
yeah. Regular season,
But they
spam the
learned
hell out of
nothing.
it.
You
Yeah.
learned nothing from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kai, that is meaningful for him to be able to do that. For Zoo, no. Like to take advantage of the smalls that were out there with Brooklyn, it would mean nothing to Ivica Zubats. I know there were some people that were concerned, like, why are they playing through him more? Like, I'm pretty sure they were trying not to. Like, just like it's preseason and Brooklyn had nobody to challenge him. There's nothing you're going to get out of that. I think.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you mentioned guys who can create and get a bucket, like KPJ. Like he should be in that second unit. He was really good Tuesday night. Like 4 of 9, 9 points. I mentioned the steal
Against a really bad Brooklyn team, but yes, building blocks.
It was, but like the shots he hit, there was the defender like right in front of his face. Like it may have been a ladder to him or something like that, but he can hit high degree of difficulty shots. He can. Coach Lou was talking about him today and saying Justin Russo asked a really cool question. Yeah, this was it. He he asked him, because of his heavy ISO, do you want to reel that in a little bit now? And Coach Lou said, I am just getting to know him and who he is as a player. I want him to go out there right now, do what he's always done. Then I can see where his limitations are, where, I'm paraphrasing, but, he could run into trouble and then make him adjust or pull him back a little bit. But I think they just want him to be aggressive and just play his style right now. And then they'll start trimming some of the fat and seeing how they can get him to be a more efficient player who's playing within the offense more instead of just ISO ball, and I'm going to get a tough bucket right now. That seems to be where it is. But he is someone that everybody knows can get a tough bucket. Like this is someone who can score on good defense.
Anthony Ludi asked, we're going to put a nail in the coffin on the Kai Jones questions. Do you think Kai Jones has locked up the last two-way contract? And I think because of the fact that Mo Bamba is hurt, that, yeah. But great.
Aldonis Williams was awesome the other night, but he plays guard, and the Clippers have so many of them.
But they signed him, right? Because they waived Ray J.
I thought they just extended his Exhibit 10 or whatever. He's not.
Yeah,
he's not on the he has a chance to keep playing in the preseason and try to get the two-way.
I think you are correct.
That would be pretty big news if he was just on the roster, on the 12, 15-man roster to start the season after one game.
I'm trying to see because Law had a tweet about it. Okay, 21-man roster. Yeah, he's an E10.
21-man roster, yeah. And that's good. I don't think he's going to be able to make the team just because the position he plays, but he was awesome. He was probably the best player maybe in the second half because the Clippers were up 18, then they're down 3 at the half. Coach Lou said he's not going to do that second unit line shift.
He hated that. Yeah, he was like,
blames himself. Said, I'm not doing a 5-man line shift next game.
Hockey style.
Yeah.
It was Elijah Harkless who they added to the Ray J. Dennis spot.
Right. Williams was making all these hustle plays and had a crazy tip in after getting 2 offensive rebounds. And then he hit a 3 and he threw, I think, 2 lobs to Kai Jones. He was really controlling the game in the second half at times. So credit to him, but it's just a numbers game. He'll likely end up somewhere. I just don't think it can be with the Clippers because he's a guard.
Another glut of guards, as someone commented on our YouTube. All right, we got a couple fun questions. D. Maley said, if you could bring back one player that has played with this team to win a ring, who would it be? Basically 1 game away from winning the championship, and the NBA randomly says you can bring someone back into the team for the winning game. They would pick definitely Lou Williams. I would maybe go Jamal Crawford. There's obvious answers, Blake, CP3. I'm not doing the obvious. There's very clear who we would actually want. Jamal Crawford getting a ring with the Clips would be sick.
Yeah. I probably like Lou Williams more, but I'm
Oh, yeah.
biased because covered him.
Great pick too. I mean, you really can't go
Well,
wrong with some of the old beloved Clippies.
Lou's game 2 against the Golden State Warriors and the 31-point comeback is so insane. I love Sweet Lou Williams. I think it would have to be him.
What about Shea?
I think he'll get his own.
Yeah, I think I'll get that figured out. Yeah, I mean Lou is a really good pick. And again,
I love Pat Bev. Bev, he'd be up there for me.
Yeah. And again, obviously Blake's those guys too. We're doing Milos, I think he really deserved a ring with the Clips when he was here. Bro. Some Darius minutes? Paul Pierce would actually be the funniest.
Jerome.
The Clippers signed Jerome Robinson to an E10 for game 4 of the sweep, obviously, because it's a sweep for the Clippers to get their first ring. Andrew Lalusis, I hope I pronounced that somewhat correctly, asked, do I really need the Clippers app to attend a game, or can I go without that? I'm old school.
I couldn't
you
tell you,
might
man.
need the app because they don't print ticket. Like
you need an app for any game now. I think.
I
went to two baseball games, one in Boston and one in Anaheim this year. I'm pretty sure it had to be digital.
Yeah, I think, and I wonder if this is like, I'm wondering if the question is more like, do you need the facial recognition stuff? Because you don't. You can opt out of the facial recognition stuff, but I think you need an app for your tickets, which isn't that great.
I think that's pretty standardized now.
Right. I understand the facial maybe not being down for the facial recognition, but the tickets, it's like you've been to an event in the last 2 years. I haven't seen a
It'd be
printed out
cool
ticket
for the
in a
keepsake part of it to still have a physical ticket, but I don't think many places take that anymore.
That would be a sick giveaway for the first game at Intuit, like a replica old school
with a player on it.
Ticket. Yeah. Remember when you would see like the season ticket packs and it would just be like a mountain of tickets with players? That was some cool stuff.
And then on the back, they had their food sponsor. So it'd be like a Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah. Free small fry. Yeah.
2 missed free throws, fourth quarter. Keep this ticket, take it to a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. So, Andrew, I think you need the app. I appreciate being old school. I am wearing the old school Clippers logo, but I have a phone that has an app for tickets.
My situation worked pretty easily at the fan shop store, at least the flagship store.
Yeah, I didn't do yeah, it was great. Got charged for 12 hats, bought one. I'm just kidding. But you can opt out of the facial stuff. You need a ticket though. You need a digital ticket. I don't think that's asking too much.
No, it's not. Like you can't go to many things anymore without one.
All right. Coming up after this last break, we're talking a little bit Clippers versus Blazers on Friday, what we want to see. And a special shout out to a former Clipper. All that coming up after a quick audio break in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back. Clips and Dip, Season 3, Episode 18. The Clippers take on the Blazers Friday night, 7:30 Pacific. What do we want to see? Other than fixing the turnovers, which James Harden acknowledged at practice today. Norm also dealing with some kind of injury that was undisclosed, but doesn't seem to be super impactful on his.
People are speculating he's got the illness. I don't know.
I'm just like, I'm also like, hold him out. Just hold him out. We got a couple more games.
He's too vital, and he looked great the first 2 games. He's good. He's a one-shot hot guy. He doesn't need much.
Yeah. I want to see. Law Murray brought up a funny thing about the difference between standing Kai Jones and running Kai Jones and how much better running Kai Jones is. And I want to see more running Kai Jones because he is our backup 5, which I'm terrified about. He needs to be the best version of himself.
In the preseason for now, yes.
Yes. But, we don't know what's up with Bamba. Like, I hopes he can be ready. I just want him to be good. Like, we need everyone to be good this year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's taking Zoo's minutes.
If Kai's playing real minutes in an NBA game, it could be an adventure right now. It's just
I agree 100%.
I don't know how much basketball people have watched, but I know a raw athlete who hasn't played much when I see one. And you're right. If he runs the floor, that's where he's at his most effective level, because then you can find him. He's beating his man down the floor. He was a track star. He didn't start playing ball till he was 15. He can run like a gazelle. What's also interesting is his cardio is special because of his track
Crazy.
background.
Yeah.
So it's not like, as he is getting to minute 20 in these first 2 preseason games, he's not slowing down at
No.
all. It's not affecting him at all. So there are some things in his favor, and I want him to get the two-way. And out of necessity, it looks like it's going to happen. And if he makes the leap from game 1 to game 2 to game 2 to game 3 here in the preseason, like, what you don't know about young guys is how fast they can progress and how quickly they can learn. And if Kai Jones is a really fast learner, well, then he can make fools of us all and
a few more games after this one, right? Like,
turn into something special sooner than later for the Clippers in the big leagues.
Yeah. What else do you want to see?
It's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Really hard.
What else do you want to see? Anything from the starters particularly? I mean, we all want to see Jordan Miller and Kobe Brown against not end of the bench rotations.
Yeah.
What else?
You take care of the basketball in there. Transition defense kind of plays into that, because when they've had turnovers, that's really their defense in the half court. I don't know what the numbers are so far in the preseason, but it's got to be damn good, because Golden State was pretty much only scoring on broken plays and transition in the first half. They were up by 18 in the first quarter on Brooklyn, who wasn't – I don't think they scored the first 4 minutes or something like that. It took forever. I think Cam Thomas hit the first shot finally. They take care of the basketball. They get back on defense. They can be very, very tough defensively. And also they got to rebound. And as Coach Lou said, as you mentioned earlier, it's not just about putting a body and boxing out your man and checking him, but then you got to get to the basketball to close out the possession. So baby steps. They're getting closer to improving that area. I don't know if they can be a top 10 rebounding team, but can they at least be somewhere between average and a little bit above average, I should say? That would be big.
Above average would be a
give me 14
team jump in the ranking. Another thing, and I'm harping on it, 3-point attempts. They had 30 last game, which was 7 fewer than the Nets. And I'd like to see it a little higher than that.
Stop turning it over 20 times. They might be able to.
Yeah. Hey.
How many offensive possessions are they losing every game right now?
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. That's like Law Murray tweeted this out where he was like, I might be the only person who cares about this. And it was like field goal, just like discrepancies and stuff, and like 2s and 3s. And it's like, that is what is important for the Clippers team. You can't lose the field goal attempt battle by an entire quarter. Wasn't it game 1 we gave him an extra like 22 field goal attempts or something like that compared to what the Clippers had? If you're only putting up 80 and they're putting up 90 or whatever, like, the math just doesn't work at some point to catch up to a team like that.
They did take 10 threes. They were 6 of 10 from 3 in the first quarter.
Right. Okay. It did tail off. Yeah.
They got up big, and the young guys did kind of feast on just getting to the paint. Kai Jones had 6 dunks, so that's going to affect not taking many threes when it's that easy against that small Brooklyn team. But still, better process would be seeing them get up more 3-pointers tomorrow night against Portland. That'd be good.
It's going to be fun. I may or may not be at the game. Put in a credential request. Haven't heard back as of 6:31 p.m. on Thursday.
The game in Seattle?
Yeah. And then
it's in Seattle tomorrow night. You're going to that game?
I might. My dad lives over there.
Where are you?
We got to give a shout out to a former Clippers coach who got named the head coach of a brand new franchise. Shout out Coach Natalie, head coach of the Valkyries. That is so sick. Instrumental in Terrence Mann's development. He was super hyped. I love to see it.
His reaction was awesome because he did not know. It was like, I can't wait to call her.
Yes, like genuine, just so excited. Happy.
Very
She's gonna
happy.
kill it. Also, it would be so cool to be the head coach of like the first year of a franchise.
Yeah.
Talk about blank canvas, putting in what like you want to operate. That's gonna be sick.
Creating
Now
history.
when they play the Sparks, sure. Yeah, creating history. Also, LOL, Eric Bui did a great drawing for that too. So go check out LOL WTF Eric on Instagram and Twitter. I don't want to spoil it for those watching. You have to go check it out and give them the engagement stats. But it'll be good. Anything else we want to talk about before we get out of here?
Kawhi.
Ugh. More of the same.
At this point, with less than 2 weeks till opening night, him not practicing still. It depends on when they talk about checking the box and taking steps. How many steps is it between not practicing and playing in game one? I don't know.
Right.
I would assume there's going to be some live 5-on-5, some contact in there before that. And he mentioned there's always a buildup, especially in his situation, when Ohm asked him about playing in a preseason game before playing in a regular season game. So if he could play in a preseason game first, I think that would be very encouraging. But it doesn't look like he's close enough to that yet. And preseason ends next Thursday. I think that's their last game. So I don't know if he can make that much progress within a week.
Yeah, it's Blazers tomorrow, Mavs on Monday, Kings on Thursday. Yeah, I don't. And again, there wasn't any new news. Don't let the aggregators fool you into believing that there's some new update that Kawhi hasn't been doing 5-on-5. That's been the case the entire. I'm not saying it's good, but just don't let the aggregators rile you up from the stuff today because they were acting like it was new news.
I mean, I think I don't know if it's new. It would obviously be bigger news if he was practicing.
Oh, we would have gone live.
But I had a quote from Coach Lou Tuesday night that I didn't see make the rounds with him talking about holding him back to the point where, if it pisses him off, so be it. And
it's like, really? Okay.
I think that plays into my theory of they are being so overly cautious right now. In hearing what Kawhi said at Media Day, was saying things were great before and after Team USA, and then they want him to take a step back. So I don't think it was a setback leading to him taking a step back. I think it was Kawhi said he was doing the usual stuff he does during the summer. That's what Ohm asked him. And maybe the Clippers are like, okay, let's just be overly cautious and let's put the reins on him a little bit. He's going too far, too fast, and you got to protect the player from himself.
And it seems like they at least are all on the same page with that. Because remember, there was that Memphis game where like Ty Lue and Kawhi had no idea he was going to be taken out at half and stuff like that. So it seems like at least everyone on the management side seems to be on the same page.
Yeah, they're in lockstep.
And they don't seem wrong, right? Like again, the Clippers have no reason to lose games this year because of the lack of draft picks.
Well, they need to stay in front of Houston.
Absolutely. So they need to win. Like they got to win games, and if you need Kawhi to win those games, this team is going to be when James Harden and Kawhi Leonard are not on the floor, not sharing the floor. When one of them is off the floor, this team is going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah, I still expect some miraculous wins like we've seen over the years when they're down and out.
I thrive when the Clippers are like this. This is to me the most fun kind of team.
You remember when they beat Brooklyn with KD and I think Harden played or Kyrie and they had Wendy and Gabriel before he went to the Lakers?
Went off. Like
they've had some of these scrappy victories. This is a hallmark of Clippers basketball the last 5 or 6 years.
100%.
But
it's going to be an interesting year. Is what it's going to be.
It is.
But it's going to be fun.
Yeah. The predictions are all over the place for good reason.
Yeah, well, it is our year. I think that is one thing that people keep forgetting.
So there's one way over here, and then you'll get someone else say they're going to win 30 games over here.
I'll oscillate between those two point of views probably before the next episode we do. Speaking of next episodes, going to be doing a live hang on Friday after the game over on youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. If you want to subscribe, you can get alerted immediately when we go live, which will be cool. We're going to be back next week to preview some of the final preseason games and just wrap everything up for y'all. Yeah, Adam, are you doing anything before the season? Just kind of do a bit of a release before, like a mental release before the grind of the regular season starts, other than your treadmill marathons?
It ain't that deep. No, I'm good. I'm ready to start now.
Fair.
I might start potting every effing day.
I mean, aren't you already doing that?
I know, you'd think, right? Pretty close. What's doing one more day a week?
Yeah, I'm going to a music festival in Las Vegas next weekend. Not this weekend, next weekend.
Is that the When We Were Young music festival?
Yes. So, William, just to break it down, it's me, William, and then our two other close buddies. William and our other friend love
Who's William?
Will, excuse me. Love that, like,
because he's back from Europe. Now we call him William.
Now he was in Japan, which is not Europe, but they like two like Will and our other buddy like love all that music and like all that stuff. I, believe it or not wasn't against it. Not my kind of music. Same with our other buddy. So we are just along for the ride. I ordered on Amazon yesterday, ibuprofen, antacids, liquid IV, like full-on festival dad stuff. So we're going to that on the 19th, and then we get back that Monday. So it's gonna be an eventful week for us.
And then the game is the 23rd on Wednesday.
Week. Oh yeah, and then I'm off to Montana on the 27th. So. Okay. Hectic start of the season, but I'm excited. I know the Clippers are going to play completely normal basketball and not give me anything to worry about outside of the other things I have to worry about.
Yeah.
And if you're listening and you're going to When We Were Young and you see us, don't talk to me about the Clippers.
Dude, what do you think? 6 seed?
Dude, do you think we could maybe get 4?
Is Kai going to be starting midway through the year?
If someone at this music fest asked me if Kai Jones is going to be starting, I will waste, I don't know, I'll waste the $12 fries I bought and throw them at him or something like that.
Bro, I heard Adam say KPJ is going to be in the starting lineup at some point.
And I'll say he did say that.
It could be some point next year, but...
I'll say, here's his number. You can talk about him. You can talk to him about it right now. All right, Adam, we need one positive thing to send these folks out on before most of us get stressed out about the Dodgers tomorrow and then unwind with a very chill Clippers preseason game.
One positive thing. We'll both be live streaming after the game.
Hey, you can come on our show. You can come on the show.
I'm doing the radio at the same time. How do I do that during the break?
Sure.
I have done that in the past. Actually, I jump in for like a minute.
People love it.
Sure, I'll do that. Let's see. I don't know. We didn't get any worse news with Kawhi Leonard today, and we got Kai Jones getting a bigger opportunity tomorrow night. I'm excited for that. And it's in Seattle, and I'm always excited for Seattle basketball. And Jamal will probably be there.
Hell yeah.
Maybe Detlef Schrempf and the guys. It'll be fun to reminisce about the Supersonics who never should have been taken away. BS. I
told my dad he should go to the game, and he said, why would I do that?
SGA should be a Supersonic.
Okay. Now save it for the After Dark stream or whatever you're doing later. That's a daily podcast subject. That's not a 3 times a week podcast subject.
Not complaining that he's gone from the Clippers, but complaining that he's not a Supersonic is gonna be my new thing.
Dude, that is a level of I'm into that. Yeah, no. Keep pulling the thread on that one. If you want to destroy the sweater, pull the thread. All right, we will be back.
Whoa.
One of us, hopefully 2 of us, will make an appearance on the live stream tomorrow after the game at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. I have no idea when Will is back, but we should have the full crew next week for some more pods and all that good stuff. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions. If you want to find us on audio, I mean, where can they find us? The podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, all those places. Subscribe. It also helps too. We'll be back tomorrow night. And as always, let's go Clips.